Hello and welcome everyone to the Tech Sharmit podcast. Today I am very delighted to have another special guest with us, Mr. Andrey Klyachkin. Andrey is a seasoned expert in IBM Power infrastructure with a passion for standardizing and automating its operation. Not only this, he is a multi-year IBM champion recognized for his significant contribution to IBM community. Andre has authored IBM Redbooks and created resources for DevOps tools, showcasing his deep knowledge and commitment to advancing the technology. In this episode, we are going to talk about his journey and will try to learn something from his professional and personal life. But before we start the discussion, I'd like to thank Andre for joining us today in this episode. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us something about yourself.
Thank you, Amit, to having me here. So I'm appreciate that you called me and asked to be with you on this podcast. And I think if I can do something that if someone after this podcast will start more interesting in IBM Power technologies or start working on IBM Power with a little bit our attitude, so then I did good job and we did a good job today. So I'm Andrey, so I'm IBM champion, as you said. And yes, I did something in my work that made me IBM champion. So maybe it was this Power DevOps tool site which I did. Maybe it was my contribution on IBM Tech Exchange community, or maybe it was my contributions earlier. So because I started contributing to IBM Power world almost the same time as I started working with IBM Power. So as for me, it was rather native to learn and to give back everything what I learned. Because, so maybe it's something like, make it funny a little bit. I have my problems here and not to remember, I don't want to remember everything. That's why I spread it everywhere. And everyone can find it in Google. So that's a good reason to contribute back to the community, I think.
Yes, right.
Okay, so what can I say? Where can I start? So I started my journey many years ago. I was a young boy, so and just everything in my IT career is just an occasion. So it's nothing was planned. It's just came so. My uncle bought an old home computer. So it was in the Soviet times. I think it was 87 or something like, and I was 9 years old. And so, child, computer games. So I can play games. That's great. Let's play. So my father was a little bit other opinion, had another opinion. So he told Andrey, you want to play games? That's great. But if you want to play games, so you must learn how to work with the computer. So I started learning, and because it was old Soviet home computer, so it has BASIC and ROM, and everything what you could do with it, so you can program BASIC. Even if you want to start a game, so you had to know at least two basic commands, load and run, and then you can play the game. So, and he bought me a book on how to program on BASIC, and I started programming. So first run something here, hello world, and guess the number or something like. So everyone does.
Yes.
So and same me. So I did it, and several years later, school where I was at that time, so got computers from East Germany. So if someone from East Germany is watching the podcast, so there was they should know these computers. So there was Robotron 1715 computers, very great. So they had 48 kilobytes of memory kilobytes. They had two floppy drives, 5-inch floppy drives, no hard drives at all. So, and they have monitors which couldn't any graphic, just text monitor 8025. So everything was green and so as it should be. So, and but these computers had already operating system. They had SCP-6, and SCP-6 was a East German version of CP/M 2.2. So another very old operating system. So I learned how to work with operating systems. I learned how to program not only BASIC, but on Pascal, and I started learning C. And so it came, and when I was 17 years old, it was 1995, I finished the school and I wanted to go to the university, started to continue my study in the university, and I failed. I failed to enter the university, and I didn't know what to do. So, but I didn't want to sit at home, and I went to the school and asked for a job. And they told me, okay, Andrey, we know you can program, so you will be here something like teacher's helper to help pupils to learn how to work with computers and how to program in BASIC. And again, my father was not very glad about this. And he told me, Andrey, if you want to have a job, so I will find you another job. And he helped me because he worked at the university, at the technical university in our town. And he went to IT guys in their university and asked if they have some job for me. And so I started working at the technical university as an operator, system administrator. And since 1995, I work as a system administrator. So it was long story, I would say. But so I came into IT. Okay, I finished my studies later and got my diploma.
Okay. Yeah, like your journey is quite fascinating, and like we would love to hear more about like how you started or how you got initially involved with the IBM Power infrastructure and what is aspects of it bring you to this particular domain.
So it was another occasion in
Okay.
my life. So, and I started, as I started working in 1995, I started, by the way, not with IBM Power, but I was a big fan of IBM OS2. So I started then working with Linux and FreeBSD. So, and my first experience with Unix was more on these two operating systems. And many years later, it's approximately 20 years ago, I worked at a bank, and as for me, it was like vacation. So because the bank had the core banking system on IBM I, or at that time OS 400, and they had a lot of Windows servers, and they had almost no Unix servers at all, or no Linux. There are very few Linux servers, and I was Linux administrator. So, and well, nothing to do, just everything is easy. So, and they started implementing one new scoring system to score the, how to say it's, to score if they can give a credit or not to people. So, and they wanted to implement it on IBM I, but the software vendor didn't support IBM I. Then they told, okay, let's implement it on Windows. Software vendor said, no, Windows, no way. So, okay, so let's do it somewhere else. And my chef, CIO at that time, so my chef at that time, so he was a very great guy. I love him. So still, we are still in contact. He came and said, Andrey, we will do it on IBM Power with IX.
Okay.
What? IX? Nothing. So nobody uses this IX. Nobody knows about IBM Power. Okay, we have their IBM I, so, but do you really see anything on IX? So the biggest Unix system of all time is Solaris. The best servers of all time are Sun servers. So why we should implement this IX when we can make it on Solaris? So we can buy Sun servers and you tell, no, Andrei, so we will do it on IX. And this was maybe the only time in all our work together when he told that what I should do, because usually it's quite another way. So I told him, so we will do that way, and we did that way. So, and this time he told, no, Andrei, we will do it on IX. And so I got my first power servers and started exploring what we can do with them and what is possible. And because I was rather late in this story, with IBM Power. I didn't start it working with 90s with Power or something like. When I started, there was already advanced Power virtualization, what we know now as Power VM. So, and I built from the scratch my first service with virtualization. I never used Power as hardware-only server. It was easier for me to make them virtualized. On Intel platform at that time, there was already some virtualization with VMware, but it was rather rudimentary, so very basic if you compare to Power virtualization. And so it started, and yes, so I came to, again, as you see, my whole life is full of occasions. So it's not that I wanted to be an IBM Power champion. I wanted to do something and it just happened.
Okay. All right. So now, we can discuss a bit more about your journey with this IBM Power infrastructure. So, what inspired you to focus on standardizing and automating IBM Power infrastructure? And were there any specific challenges or opportunities that guided you toward this particular area?
Oh. So this will be another funny story from my life. So before working at that bank, I was a Linux administrator, and I worked at a big Russian company called Yandex. So I don't know if anybody heard about Yandex, but Yandex was maybe the biggest internet site in Russia, and it was a long time so in top 10 of the whole world internet sites. So it is really huge. And I was responsible for some services, and one of the services I was responsible for, I was the only guy there for this service, and I had approximately 200 physical Linux servers. It was time pre-cloud, so there was no cloud at all. There were no virtualization at all. Or maybe there was, maybe VMware already started, but it something you couldn't find at that time. So, and we were growing fast. Every week I had to install 2 new physical servers. So, it's not something that you can easy as today. So just click a button and it is deployed. So it was physical. And yes, nowadays everyone has an image to deploy his new server or her new server. And I had my own image. So my own image was a real hard drive. So it was in a server, and I did an image. I installed Linux on that hard drive. I prepared everything, and everything what I had to do is just insert a new hard drive, copy from this hard drive to that hard drive, take the hard drive, insert into the server, start the script to configure everything for me. So that's it. Server is ready. I can move it into the rack or start it into the service. So I was not only responsible for installing new servers, but also for managing them. So, and if you have many servers, so you have no other way, just starting somehow standardizing them and automating. Just as an example, so once we found that our SMTP servers are not so fast as we would like to have them. And we found the reason for that. It was DNS resolution time. So because every SMTP server must send some email, and before it sends email, it goes to DNS server and asks, say me what is a mail exchanger for this domain, and got an answer. This answer comes just in several milliseconds. But if it is 100 milliseconds or 150 milliseconds, in a big installation, it's a huge difference. And now if it is 150 milliseconds, so you have a very big mail queue on the servers. And you need to install new servers, and new servers cost money.
Right.
So what could we do? We just decided to install local caching DNS servers on each SMTP server. So because when we have local cache, and the time to resolve a domain is much less. So again, if you do it on 200 servers, or even if you do it on 20 servers, you will not go and type every command on the keyboard. So you will prepare the configuration and you copy the configuration to each server. That's it. So, and then you start your automation procedure. And yes, I started as every system administrator, I started with scripting, with bash scripting. So I think every system administrator learned how to execute a command on many cells. So while for a list from servers, do something done. Yeah. So it's very easy and everyone did it. But again, a little bit time later, I found that I have different groups of servers. And I started to do what we are now know as inventory in Ansible. So just a list of servers in a text files. So this is group 1, this is group 2, and let's do it on group 1 and on group 2 something else. So, and if you work with many servers, so like 200, of course, some of the servers will not answer to you into proper manner or into proper time slot. So you have to handle the errors. And so I started to make parallel execution of jobs on several jobs, asynchronous execution of jobs on different servers, and everything in Bash, and everything started working. And so I did it for many years, and it works. So I now, and when someone's starting asking, why should I do it in Ansible when I can do it in Bash or in Corn shell scripting, everything works. And I'm completely okay with that. So if you automate with scripting, do it. But let's be honest. So in my whole career, I saw not so many people who can really, really good automate and scripting. So because it's not so easy.
Yes.
So you must check every error code which comes back. So you must check many conditions. And people are usually doing something like, so I execute one command, another command, third command, and that's it. So it's not the same type of automation what we have with Ansible, for example. So as I told, I did a lot of scripting for many years, but when it came to Power, it was, again, rather funny story for me. So I had a project at a bank and they wanted to have security guidelines for their IBM Power infrastructure. And I thought, okay, so I did it many times. I will write a new guidelines for you. So it's always so get requirements from this side, get requirements from that side, combine everything, test the infrastructure that it works. And the most difficult part is to get approval from every department. So especially from security guys. But okay, I did it, everything is okay. So and the next step is also very usual in this case. Someday we don't have enough specialists, so can you please deploy the whole thing to ourselves? So why not? So again, I have my scripts. I deployed everything is good. Security, green check, everything is okay. So what should I do? Nothing. So I can go, no, stop. At this moment, please stop. Because administrator, they worked with their root accounts, not with their personal accounts, but with root accounts. So, and they found it's not very funny to work with personal accounts. They wanted to work with root accounts. So, and the next day after we got the green check, so root access was open again.
Okay.
So all timeouts just dropped away. The whole configuration we did, or not the whole configuration, but many of the settings we did to make the environment secure was just rolled back by administrators, because they find it's something like, so it's so unusual and it's not so comfortable to work with personal accounts when I can work with root. So and so on. So I was asked to how we can prevent it. And I started searching for methods how to prevent such configuration drift, as we call it. And first I proposed to do it in shell script. With shell scripts, I had my own library of shell scripts, so we can do it, and that's it. But it's also not, it didn't work so good, and it would cost us a lot of time to implement it in scripting. So, and okay, occasionally I was at IBM Technical University in Cannes in South France, and I met there a beautiful guy from PSG, Paris, no, not from PSG, sorry, PSG is another story. From a French bank, and he made there a session about how he standardized IX infrastructure with Chef.
Okay.
So, and I look, wow, this is exactly what I want. I want to do the same. So, and I came back and installed Chef and started exploring how I can standardize with Chef and automate the whole infrastructure. So Ansible at that time was not very useful because it didn't work very well with IX, and it didn't have any modules for IX at that time at all. So, but we did it with Chef, and it worked very well. And so I came into automation story. And okay, several years ago, I switched to Ansible completely because as for now, Ansible works beautifully with IX. And I love that IBM does it and is doing very good job from my point of view, making more and more modules and allowing more and more automation with Ansible and IBM Power. Because Ansible is very easy tool. So if you compare it with all other tools, so it's, for me, it's something like, again, I'm as an external contractor, I can come into a company, which, okay, not with my laptop is not always allowed, but so literally talking with my laptop, we've installed Ansible and just deploy if using my Ansible playbooks. That's it. It's easy. So that's why I'm came into this story, and I'm really I think it's a really good story for everyone to
Yes,
start
yes,
off.
it is because it's not that easy to manage all those server, but you literally did a commendable job, and everyone should learn like how you did your work, and they can learn from your experiences. So that's a good thing. Now, we would like to talk a bit about your experience as an IBM champion, because being recognized as an IBM champion for multiple years in a row is a truly impressive. So, how this recognition influence your career, and what does it mean to you personally?
So may I start with the last part, what it means for me personally. So because as for me, it's something like I already said, I like to give away. So what I learned. So it's not about something like I learned and I know and that's it. I use it for me. So I use it for me, of course, but I also give it away to everyone, that everyone can do it. Because I think if everyone can manage IBM Power infrastructure very well, so we will have very bright future of IBM Power. So it's for me, I must give back, and I must do what I can so that people can learn how beautiful IBM Power is, how performant it is, how it is easy to work with it. So, and it's helpful for administrator to work with IBM Power even more as for everyone else. So, and yes, I think I changed as an IBM champion the last 4 years. So this is my 4th year as IBM champion. I think I changed me a lot.
Okay.
So as I how to say it's in English, so I'm forgetting the language. So I'm growing every time I recognize as IBM champion. It's I want to say thank you to everyone who submitted my recognition. So this nomination, and as for me, it's every time I think I grow, I do more and more and more. So, and I'm glad about it. So, and
Okay.
about how it impacted my career. So that's, I would say it didn't impact my career. I hope I'm still Andrey as I was before. Didn't change a lot in this case.
Okay. All right. So, like having spoken at major conferences, you must have a keen eye of trends. So, what are some key advancement you have observed in a IBM Power infrastructure recently? Like you have spoken on various type of conferences. So, what
Yeah.
are some of the key advancement you have observed?
Mhm. So I think I will not be very original in this case,
Okay.
because what I see so is we have more Linux workloads on IBM Power. So and I personally think it is very good because Linux is. So we had the Linux for how many? 25 years on IBM Power, something like, but it wasn't so really used. Nowadays we see more and more and more Linux workloads on IBM Power, especially with such things like SAP HANA. So migrating SAP to HANA on IBM Power makes a real performance advantage if you compare to Intel CPUs. So like OpenShift installing or developing new applications near the databases, and we have IBM I with DB2, and we have IX with Oracle and DB2. So everything is running on IBM Power. The most important databases are running on IBM Power, and bringing applications near to the databases, to the sources of data is a real good point for everyone. So, and yes, also thanks to AI development. So it's something like, as for me, it's completely new. I just started my AI journey. I don't know anything about AI, but last time at Common Europe Congress, my friend Mirza did a wonderful session for beginners like me, where to start with AI and what you can do with it. So I learned I can do something. If I have time and money, I will try to make it a little bit more with AI. But so this is the most biggest trend maybe, but what is also really got forgotten from trends, because we talk about trends and advancements, yeah, and if we talk about trends, we talk about these new workloads.
Yes.
But the traditional workloads, IBM I and IX, they're still there, and they're not falling down. So this is, again, it's not my words, so it's something like I've heard at Common Europe Congress with Sharma, from high top manager of IBM. So, and he told me, not me, so he told it from the stage, that these workloads are still approximately 80% of IBM Power business. They are growing, and IBM Power business is growing. So it grows and grows and grows. So I think this is the best trend. So,
Yes.
and what I heard from IBMers, it's something like, so, they have 3 years cadence for each CPU generation. Yeah? So they make first year Power 9, second year Power 9, third year Power 9, and then comes Power 10. So, and every time the third year of each cadence was always the worst time. So the first year they sold most of the system. The second year they sold less system, but they sold, and the third year they sold almost no systems, or very, very few systems. And with Power 10 is completely different. It is the third year of the cadence. This year is the third year, and they still sell like, yeah, a lot of servers. So it's really popular, I think.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, Andre, other thing I want to discuss is related to security. Like security is a paramount. So, in your view, what are the most critical security concerns for IBM Power infrastructure today, and what strategies can company employ to mitigate these kind of risks?
Okay, and in this particular
Mhm.
security topic, even if I did a lot of security assessments and security guides and so on, I would answer a little bit from the other side.
Okay.
As for me, the biggest security point for today is not technical security, it's not compliance, but security of people. So people must learn how to use their systems most
Right.
effectively.
Agree.
If they cannot learn how to use their systems, they can't make them secure.
Right.
So it means the best strategy for each company is to invest into people, send them to courses, to trainings, to conferences, to workshops, and because only there they can learn about all news, what happens in IBM Power, and they can learn how to use IBM Power in a most effective way. And again, most effective is also most secure way. So
Right.
That's my strategy, my personal strategy. So, and I will advise everyone, every manager, to go and send people to conferences and to trainings and to workshops.
Okay. Okay. And as an IBM Redbook author, like you have contributed significantly to the community. So could you please tell us a bit about your work with IBM Redbook, like any few of the books that you have published with IBM?
So I work right now on a Redbook with IBM. So, and I love this, how we work on Redbook. So it's something like, there are people who know better, let's say IBM I, there are people who know better IX, or people who know better Linux, or some other part of IBM Power infrastructure, or some things. So, and we are all together discussing the things, what we want to see in the Redbook, and everyone sees something special and proposes something special to, and then we work together on these topics. And so even if there are some chapters who wrote most of one of two guys, so there are another chapters who wrote by another guys, but still you're working with all of people with different backgrounds, with different points of views, with different so they're completely different. So, but
Yes.
you learn from all of them. So, and at the end, you know even more as came before. You came to contribute to the community to make a better Red book, and at the end, you learned for your own
Yeah.
even more. So, I love it. So it's and you meet some people who I don't know. As for me, it's something. Working, so I really worked also not only as a Redbook author, I co-authored several certification exams for IBM iX, and the first time I co-authored the first certification exam, I was in the team with Nigel Griffiths, with Gareth Coates, with Rob McNally. My heroes are all here, and but something this is experience you can just translate in words. So it's
Okay.
beautiful.
Okay. Right. So, like, we have various topic to discuss with you, but just because of the limitation of time, like, I
Yeah.
would like to put up my last question, and which is related to the website that you have created. So you have created a site dedicated to DevOps tools for AIX and for Linux on Power. So why do you believe DevOps is important for nowadays, and how does it relate to agile transformation within the companies?
Okay, so this is several years ago. I had a session on the conference about DevOps on IBM Power. So, and we talk most of the time on DevOps like about using modern tools. So what I did, I ported a lot of tools to IX and Linux on Power, and so in most for most people it's just tools. So, and I told at the session, I told guys, this is not about tools. It's about our culture. DevOps was born to bring development and operations together. So, but it's not about development and operations at all. So it's about breaking silos. So you, as a guy, as a system administrator, you must go one step more, go to your neighbor and ask, my dear Oracle DB, my dear Windows administrator, my dear network administrator, what I can do for you. And this is the real DevOps.
Yes.
So if you do this step and you ask how you can help others, then you can help others and you break the silos. If you wait till someone from top will tell you now we are in DevOps, we bring development and operations together, forget about it. It will not work.
Yes.
So, and the same, so if you starting with DevOps, you're starting with breaking the silos, starting working with other teams, and you start working agile. Again, from bottom, not from top, because some top manager told to you that we should be agile. No, you start from bottom as agile person, because you are talking to everyone. You understand what they want, and you can combine it with your wishes. and start step by step, make your systems better and make your applications better. And this is what agile and DevOps for me, make your system better.
Right. So thank you so much, Andrey, for joining us for this
Thank you for
episode and
inviting me, Amit.
for
It
sharing your
was,
expertise. So
as for me, it was very nice to talk to you. Thank you for your questions. And yeah, I hope I could do something today
yes,
for
like
IBM Power
this
community.
this
And
yeah, this discussion is very beneficial for all the audience who are interested in learning IBM Power infrastructure, and like they can learn many things from your experience. So that's a good thing for them. So thank you once again for joining.
thank you very much, Amit.